We're here at the magical Circuit de Monaco for one of the most challenging qualifying sessions on the Formula One calendar. Who can add their name? So qualifying is complete and we're all set for an exciting race tomorrow. Your top three are Ricciardo, Bottas and Kimi Räikkönen. Hello and welcome as we prepare to get another round of this season underway. The astonishing Circuit de Monaco is, for all intents and purposes, virtually unchanged since its inaugural race back in 1929. The faster cars of today, though, ensure the 19 corners past the casino and along the seafront remain as thrilling as ever. A 2.1-mile lap here takes us around an entire country, yet never more than inches from the race-ending barriers. As the drivers complete their preparations down below us on the grid, one man who's no stranger to the pre-race pressure is Anthony Davidson, who joins me in the commentary box today. Great to have you with us, Ant. I'm sure you can tell us all about what goes through a driver's head before lights out.
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn one. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Daniel Ricciardo starts from pole position today, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton and Alonso, Sainz, Perez, Hülkenberg and Kevin Magnussen, Ocon, Leclerc, Stoffel Van Dorn and Grosjean, Gasly, Hartley, Marcus Ericsson and Lance Stroll. Sirotkin and Sebastian Vettel starts from the back of the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
No heroics into Sainte Devote, please. We're in amongst the pack and just need to stay in one piece. Mind that front wing. It'll need replacing if it takes too much damage. Check your MFD for a new strategy option. Go now. Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres. DRS is now enabled and will be available to use when you are within 1 second of the car ahead in the DRS zone. Our gap to the car in front is 11.7 seconds. Be careful with the front wing, you've taken some minor damage. Okay, take it easy on the car. We can't sustain this level of damage. Your front wing is damaged. Expect a lot of understeer unless we replace it. A new strategy is available on the MFD. Confirmed. Kimi is in the pits. Kimi in the pits. The gap to the car behind is 4.9 seconds. Are you all right? Engine off, engine off.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for Red Bull today. So here come our winning drivers today, and what a race it was. There's been a big push at the factory lately to get these cars ready, and we can see the fruits of that labour today as Red Bull lift the winner's trophy. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the Drivers' Table. Lewis Hamilton takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship after an excellent result. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Well, you've put me in a bit of a tight spot today, but I think I'll go for Pierre Gasly. He kept a cool head under pressure and made the most of some difficult circumstances.
Hello and welcome from the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, home to the Canadian Grand Prix for today's qualifying session. So, could be a tasty one today then, Ants. We've got all the ingredients, that's for sure. Treacherous conditions, an ever-changing racetrack, and one or two cars just behind the pace-setters who maybe, just maybe, fancy a bit of an upset after a good performance from them in free practice.
And the question has to be, of course, what is that circuit going to look like in 10 to 15 minutes from now? If you think the rain's going to get worse, then you have to be straight out when the lights go green to find whatever grip you can. But if it eases off, then you better...
Are you okay? That was a big one. Confirm you're okay, please. That looked bad. Are you all right? Let me know you're all right. What happened? Let me know you're okay. Are you all right? Engine off, engine off. Are you okay? That was a big one. Confirm you're okay, please. That looked bad. Are you all right? Let me know you're all right. What happened? Let me know you're okay. Are you all right? Engine off, engine off. Are you okay? That was a big one. Confirm you're okay, please.
The grid is all set then for the race tomorrow. But before we go, let's quickly... It's time to head down to the track now for today's championship race. And I wonder, who's going to come out on top? With top speeds of around 210 miles per hour heading into the overtaking opportunity of turn 13, the 2.7 miles of the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve are some of the quickest on the Formula One calendar. There are 14 corners in total, with 60% of the lap taken at full throttle, and average lap speeds clock in at about 130 miles per hour. With that then, let's run through the grid order. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position.
Okay, be wary of the cars ahead braking suddenly into one. We could ruin our race if we hit them. Good luck. That's a decent start. Good job. Nice work, that brings you up a place. Illegal manoeuvre, cede that position or will receive a penalty. Race officials have enabled DRS. DRS is now available.
Oh, now I've finally got my mic in. This race has not been going so well. So far. I reckon I can still win this. Hello to Amen, who that's definitely not what your name is. But yeah, hi man, hope you're well. Don't even know if you're still watching. But literally doing this with some TikTok posts or something like that. But it's definitely going to stay on YouTube. Ericsson, please. I've not got the patience to be dealing with this.
Okay, some information on signs.
Schumacher
they have an issue
or
with their
Senna?
car. They're going to be slow.
Right, shut up, Jeff. I've got to answer a very serious question. Schumacher or Senna? Now, well, hold on, let me just shut Jeff up.
Repeat that. There's interference. Got that? Confirmed?
Right, now that Jeff is now fully silent, I can answer the question. It's tough to answer that one because of the fact that Schumacher got to live out his entire career until he chose he wanted to retire. Or chose when he wanted to retire. Senna, obviously, unfortunately, we didn't get to see him past 94. So, but what we... thing is, when I watch Senna and like watch him back, it's like watching something magical. I think, but Schumacher is actually relentless. Like, he is a joke. Like, he could be about 30 seconds up the road and still not be fully happy. Like, they're both fantastic. Like, when you weigh up the statistical side of things, it's not a question that Schumacher is better because of the fact that he has 7 world championships compared to Senna's 3. Did Senna... Oh, sorry, let me come back to you in a moment. Oh god, I'm getting boxed in. No, I'm not having this. No, I'm backing up. Ah! Right, sorry. I'll get back to you in a second. Let me just get past these guys. Give me someone to overtake, baby. Ow! No, please, Fernando, please. Thank you. Right, back to the conversation at hand. Yeah, I don't... Obviously, they both had amazing cars. Schumacher had amazing cars more often than Senna did. In the same way that, like, Hamilton has had more amazing cars than Alonso and Vettel, perhaps. Like, Schumacher's always had his hands on a good car. Senna, for me, did more incredible things with a car that was never as good. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. I think when it was back in 85 or 86, like when I think he was at Lotus, he was fantastic. I think it was Lotus anyway. I'm pretty sure it was. I'm gonna say though, I will say Schumacher, but I love Senna. So that is my answer. Schumacher over Senna. But I think it's very unfair and quite hard to compare. But good question. Say if I were to percentage that out, I think it would be maybe, I don't know, 55-45 Schumacher. It's always, yeah, when you're comparing, not necessarily eras, although you technically are comparing eras. Like when you're comparing different careers, it's hard to do so when the circumstances are so, oh Jesus, when the circumstances are so different between them. Like, but when Schumacher when he got his first drive, was it Spa? He was so good. Was it for Jordan? I think it was for Jordan. I don't know. But yeah, incredible. Both drivers, horsemen of Formula One, alongside Fangio and other drivers. But yeah, no, Schumacher. Yeah, Schumacher over Senna. Just. If you've got any more questions, I'm happy to talk about them. You know, I'm going to be doing this for a little while, so it'd actually be good to think and talk about something while driving. Makes the time go a lot faster, actually. There we go, purple first sector. Next up, Romain Grosjean. Nah. I'll just like corner cut. I'm actually new to F1, and I also love them both. Yeah, well, if you're new to F1, it's good to obviously watch some. Well, obviously, yeah, keep watching some old races and stuff. And when I say old, it doesn't need to be all the way back from like the 1950s or the 60s or
Kimi
like
is in for his stop.
Just watch Formula One races. Like, don't let necessarily fans sway your opinions. Like, for example, I am a Lewis Hamilton fan, and like, if I were to go around telling everyone that Lewis Hamilton is the best driver of all time and telling him he's the best at everything and like no other driver could compare to him, to a new F1 fan, that would definitely sway an opinion. But that's just not fair. I think everyone should be able to have their own opinions on who they like best. I just saw a comment. Was that, I think, Matt, I just saw your question. Are you asking whether there was a championship for what? You just put that again so I can see, because I don't really want to pause. But as you're new to F1, going back to you, Eamon, I'd say, yeah, just make your own opinions on the drivers and see how they are. Like, as I said, I'm a Hamilton fan. I love Verstappen and stuff. I'm in championship mode, Matt. I'm in championship mode. Like, yeah, championship mode. But what was I just saying? Yeah, I'm obviously a Hamilton fan. I think Verstappen is an amazing driver. I loved Vettel, but I loved Vettel most of the time. I didn't like him at the time in 2013, but afterwards I sort of got over the fact that I got over Malaysia basically, because I was a 10-year-old kid who liked seeing good racing, and I didn't want to see someone get, not robbed out of the victories, because I feel like he should have just done it somehow else, but it is what it is. But yeah, you need to, if you don't have respect for the drivers, then it's going to be hard for you to enjoy F1, I think. The same with any other sport. If you can't respect other teams or players or so on and so forth, you don't enjoy the sport as much as you think you can. Oh, right. Have the two Mercedes dickheads stopped yet? That's something I can need to check in the race director. They haven't stopped. They're on the ultra softs as well. Oh, okay. The race is on. So if I can catch them on the road, I'm going to just turn the ERS deployment off and see if I can hunt down Bottas. My friend once went to Sepang. Oh my god, I really missed the Malaysian Grand Prix. It was so good. I didn't really appreciate it much when I was really young, like maybe when I was, I don't know, 7 or 8, like around 2009, 2010 time. I didn't really appreciate it as much as I did when it got to, well, especially when I got into my early teens. It really became like, when you sort of understand how racing works and what's good for racing, what's not. Malaysia is fantastic. It's great weather. The track is wide. It's beautiful. Fast speed corners, like high speed corners. Sorry, medium speed that actually work. Wheel-to-wheel racing everywhere. It was a really good track, and it's a shame that it's no longer on the calendar. I love to see Sepang back in the calendar. Yeah, I would be too. I'd have it over a lot of the tracks that are currently on the calendar. In fact, me and my friends, we've spoken about, you know, if we were to make a calendar, whether it was like a 20-21 race calendar, like an ideal calendar, so like 19 to 21 races, and we made our own, like, not necessarily the order, although we did do it that way, but like having what tracks we'd have on there, what tracks we'd get rid of. Malaysia is easily, I think that's the first track everyone goes to bring back because it's so good. And even if you looked at the last 4 or 5 races we had there, obviously we had Verstappen win the last one, because actually the Red Bulls actually were on that day, the Red Bulls were the better car in terms of race pace. Like the Red Bulls were really quick. Obviously Vettel was coming from the back of the grid. 2016, Ricciardo won his only race of 2016 because Hamilton's engine went bang bang. And then him and Verstappen both had a big battle. 2015, obviously Vettel's first win for Ferrari. You know, 2014 was a bit boring, but like 2012 and 2013 were 2 incredible races at that track. It's so good. Like it's an incredible facility, and I really wish it was to return to the calendar. I could definitely think of 5 circuits that need to come off. Even though people love some tracks, you know, I'd get rid of them in a heartbeat to see Malaysia back on the calendar permanently, alongside a few others. Like I'm pretty sure if you could have races like, well, obviously it's a financial thing, but if we were going on a creativity side, if you could have tracks like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a really good example. Like Baku. Baku's been on the calendar since 2016, and people insist that it's a good circuit, and you know it deserves a spot on the F1 calendar. If people think that Baku is worth, the SC, yes, that was the point I'm making. If Baku's worth being on the calendar, then I think Malaysia easily gets in. The same with Singapore and Abu Dhabi, and even tracks like Mexico. And like all these other ones that have come in recently. If you think they deserve to be on the calendar, then I think Malaysia gets in above. I think Malaysia
Some
gets in above
information on
all
Hartley.
of them.
They've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
Send into the pit lane. Because I can't be asked to race with the pit assist off. Oh, it's ending. Wait, have I just held him in the pits? Who's that? Bottas. Oh, that's great because we're going to come out. Oh, there's Hamilton in the distance. But I'm going to be right with. Oh, this could get fruity, these last laps. There's Ricciardo. That's Verstappen and Raikkonen, yeah? Yes, I got the jump on Ricciardo. Brilliant. I don't know if I can catch Hamilton, but I can definitely get P2. Oh, man. It's got me all nostalgic now. I'm thinking about Australia and Malaysia. No, man. Don't hit the wall like that. Sepang was the first tilt track in F1 and still the best. I would agree. Yeah, it's definitely the Tilka, not Tilt. Who's going to win the World Driver Championship this year in my opinion? It really depends on how the cars are. For example, if the Red Bull were to stay in good condition, as it like not maybe as dominant as last year, but like if it was to stay at a similar level, I reckon Verstappen just wins a third world title. If the Mercedes is as good as sort of people are expecting it to be, I don't see no reason why Lewis won't challenge and win it. I don't think Carlos or Checo will stand much of a chance because their teammates higher. I would say it's hard. I don't really like. It's very disrespectful to say stuff like this, but like I think the levels to the game are too great. Like I think as much as I rate Carlos and I rate him highly, I think Charles Leclerc, if he becomes more of a consistent driver, blows Carlos out of the water. And then Verstappen is leagues and bounds above Perez, and Perez is incredibly talented. So those two don't stand a chance. Again, it's really dependent on how the cars are. Like, if it's similar to last year in terms of overall car performance, I think Verstappen will win a third world title. If the Ferrari is better, and let's say it's an even playing field between Red Bull and Ferrari, I still would back Max Verstappen maybe 60-40 in a title fight with Leclerc. If the Mercedes is there, if the Mercedes is on the level of the Ferrari last year and Red Bull stayed the same, so the Red Bull being like, you know, slightly, the Ferrari being good, but the Red Bull being better, then, you know, I still think Verstappen wins. I feel like Verstappen's the most likely to win, but if the Mercedes is somehow the best car on the grid, and I mean, in the same way that the Red Bull was last year, and let's say Red Bull are both like, you know, sort of like the Ferrari last year, like a good level where they can fight for wins, but the Mercedes is just generally a better car on an all-round track. I don't see why Lewis isn't winning the title. I think Verstappen is the most likely to win next season, but I think there are chances that Hamilton can win, Leclerc can win, and in terms of the other drivers in the team, I reckon Russell has the best chance out of the other three. Again, it is really dependent on who's got the best chance. Don't sleep on George. No, definitely not. I think George is one of the best youngsters to have come into the sport. Not the best, because I think that's Verstappen, realistically. Like, he's the best youngster to have entered the sport since Lewis, really. But like, if we're looking at these new younger crop of drivers, I'd rate him in the top three alongside Leclerc and Verstappen. And people get annoyed at that because they're like, oh, what about Norris? What about Norris? Norris is great, but personally, I rate George higher. And if you look at last season, George obviously beating Hamilton in the standings. Whether that means too much, because obviously you never really know what's going on behind closed doors and how much Lewis was doing in terms of all the car stuff and like testing new parts and just basically being almost like a dummy so that George can, or like the team can progress. Like, I don't know how much of that is true, and to be honest, I don't think it particularly matters too much because George was fantastic throughout last season. And then when he had a car that was good enough, he absolutely deserved to win. But I think in a championship competitive car, it's hard to see how things would pan out between them. Because, do you know how Russell got to go in the W11, but it was against Valtteri? We never, we never really got to gauge where Russell was in a championship winning car compared to Lewis, because he had to replace Lewis. I think I'd be able to make a better prediction had it been... Oh, Jesus, that was terrible. I would have been able to make a better prediction had it been Bottas that was ill. Best rookie driver, Alonso. Alonso has a lot of potential. Best rookie driver, Alonso. I don't know, are you mocking it? Like, are you mocking it? Best rookie driver? Eh? But I'm going to be honest, right? Alonso is an amazing driver, yes. I think he is one of the best drivers of the last 30, no, I'm going to say 20. Easily in this century, one of the best drivers so far. Like, he is amazing. Some things, like, for example, the 2012 season, amazing. Couldn't really fault the guy, and actually the 2 retirements he had were not his fault. Hamilton won a World Drivers' Championship. Almost won a... I cannot see what the rest of that message actually says. So, I'm going to have to go into the YouTube comment section after this. Just joking. Okay, cool. I was about to say, like... Alonso's good. In a competitive Aston Martin, he might do things. But... I would personally say that... No. Even if in a competitive Aston Martin, he wouldn't win a title. Not against Max Verstappen, who's going for a third. Not against Charles Leclerc, who's going for a first. And I don't back him against the Mercedes if the Mercedes is as competitive as it should be. Hamilton's won the race. I've somehow managed to, despite crashing so much and having so many mistakes, I made it up to second, which is just a mess, really. That was... really wasn't focused at this, but who cares? Right, let me go into the comment section so I can see what Matt said. Hamilton almost won a... Yeah. He almost won. Well, in fairness, he should have done, but if we're being honest, he bottled it himself. And it's like the championship was lost in China when he put it in the gravel trap, which is annoying as a Hamilton fan. But he ruined it himself. Let's be real. Yeah. It's mad to think that guy could have won, or easily could have won 10 world championships. Easily. If it had not been for a retirement in Malaysia where his engine blew up, some interesting steward decisions in the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and his own impatience to try and win the Chinese Grand Prix, even though he didn't need to. All he needed was a top 5 or 6.
So then, it's time to see how this result
That's all he had to do, and he threw it away. Like, and that's the thing, he knows that as well, and he knows that he cost himself the World Championship in 2007. Which, despite having 7 world titles, I think that would still bug even me. Is the fact that, like, well, I could have had 8 already, but you never know. Could have made him into a different driver, so you never know. Let's have a look at the standings now after race 7, because I'm definitely behind now. Yeah, 17 points behind. Valtteri 5 points behind me. Raikkonen on 91, he's 14 points off of me. And then there's Verstappen just edging Ricciardo, and then there's a big jump to Nico Hülkenberg. If we look at the constructors, obviously Mercedes on top, 26 points. This isn't bad. I have had 2 retirements? Or 3? No. Did I retire in Baku? I can't quite remember if I retired in Baku. Well, just a season rundown. I've won in Australia, retired in Bahrain, I got taken out by Ericsson, won in China. I'll come back to Baku in a second. I won in Spain, so that brings it up to, what, 75 points? Retired in Monaco, and I just finished 2nd here, which puts me on 18 points, 93. I finished 4th in Baku. That's what happened in Baku. Finished 4th. Hamilton won Bahrain. I believe he also won... No, Valtteri won Baku. Who won... He must have won Monaco. Oh, and he's just won Canada as well, so there you go. Nice. The circuit Paul Ricard. Let's get some interesting F1 topics up. That might be interesting.
The circuit has rubbed in with practice, but this is still a difficult session as our
Jesus.
drivers fight for pole position. Welcome to qualifying for the French Grand Prix.
Wow. What a beautiful circuit.
want to
Oh
talk briefly
dear.
about the strategy.
Road to glory. More like road to death at this track. I don't recall ever doing this track on this game, so this could be very interesting. I should win this race. I should set up. What tyres would be good? Well, no, not tyres. What am I talking about? Front wing. Well, I'm gonna need some top speed, so if I just yeah, I'll do that. Oh yeah, I'm gonna need all of that, and then I can drop that down a little bit because that will be too unbalanced. I wonder if I think the typical high front camber, low toes should be good. Front suspension, I like that a bit softer, to be honest. Anti-roll bar needs to be up at like 8. When you gonna do live again? What do you mean, for this or for other things? I go live for, well, when I'm recording TikTok Championship, I'm live, but I then unlist them afterwards. So I could be live this evening for that. I'm definitely going to be doing more VETTEL Road to Glory. Definitely tomorrow. Am I doing it definitely tomorrow? Oh, that could be a tricky one. Maybe tomorrow morning I'll be going live for Road to Glory. I definitely will be live later. I think tomorrow's a bit more of a tricky one because I'm gonna be slightly busy in the real world. But yeah, and also this weekend too. I think go 7. Go 7 maybe. By the way, guys, if you haven't checked out TikTok Championship, I would recommend it. It's going great so far. I've uploaded the first 2 races of the season. A good friend of mine, Finn, or his YouTube channel is Tintin Fisk. You should go subscribe to that. He has been posting the races in full, unedited, and he has done the first 4 races of the season. What's my TikTok? I will put it in chat right now. I will put the link in the chat, but if you wanted to type in the name, it is literally the same as my YouTube. Hold on. A username copied. Oh, I've just copied the username, haven't I? I haven't really copied the link. Well, there you go. That's it. Literally the same as my YouTube. That's my TikTok, where I just do random edits and sometimes gaming ones. You know, it's a bit different. But yeah, definitely check out TikTok Championship. Obviously, as I said, I've uploaded the first 2 races on here on YouTube. And then, yeah, a couple of my friends have done others. I am currently working on race 3, Imola. And if you've seen Tintin's video on it, you know that it's been a bit... It had a little bit of an interesting ending, let's say that. And it was definitely a racing incident. Right, anyway, back to Road to Glory. Hello, Sports Academy. How you doing, mate? You good? I hope you're all well. I hope you're all well. And thank you all for stopping by, really. I really appreciate it. Oh my god, the pit lane's so different now. That is such a different pit lane. Holy cow. Oh my god, the circuit's so different. Ah, good to hear, man. Good to hear. Oh god, this is so weird. I'm too focused on the scenery. I can't speak today. On the scenery than I am the circuit. This is so weird. They even got, like, I think it's the trees. It legitimately is the trees. I'm more focused on the trees and stuff. This is honestly so weird. Because having done so many laps of this track in the last few days on F122, unfortunately the full race we did a online full race in a league competition we did, just sort of as a fun filler race. It got copyright claim, sorry. So it's no longer on the internet because someone decided to play music and got it copyrighted, which is annoying. Well, mate, I'm gonna sleep because already. Yeah, I assumed it was quite late over there. Well, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciated your time and talking with you. It was quite nice. Have a good night, and hopefully I'll speak to you soon. God, that pit lane is so odd. Also, I just obliterated this lap in comparison to the AI. What's going on? Right, some tracks I'm having to run 90 AI, and then other tracks I'm needing to run. Sorry for my bad English when you gained a new subscriber. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. You're a legend. Absolute legend. Thank you so much. Slowly resurrecting my dead channel. Slowly. But hopefully surely. If I become more consistent, that is. Ah, awesome. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that from Sports Academy. Yes! Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Oh, wait, I didn't up the AI. I couldn't... I just realised it was wet.
Okay, the run into turn 1 isn't too long, so the pack will be bunched up.
Do you know what? I'm committing with the dry setup, because that might make it more interesting. Straight into second gear. Not worrying about that at all. I will show you the channel for my F1 friends to follow you. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Really do, genuinely. Oh, man. So much love today. Oh, nice. But yeah, seriously. See you later, man. Have a good night. Oh, Jesus, this is horrible. Well, let's turn down this overtake. I hate having the toggle to show how much ERS I need to use. I hate it. I prefer the new, well, since 2020, the overtake button. I prefer that so much. I think if they had the overtake button in 2018 and 19, those games would be slightly improved. Oh my god! Okay, yeah, that's horrific. I've just taken out a braking board. How many places am I going to lose now? Well, I've lost the place to Bottas, to Raikkonen. Where is Hamilton? Struggling against Ricciardo. What's going on? Well, I actually have a chance to claw some points back in the championship. Right, Kimi. I'm not going to ask for the position, but I am going to take it. Can I go down the inside? No, I can't. I'm not going to try it there either. That was horrific. It's weird how comfortable I feel on this game. Like, I know it definitely doesn't look like I'm comfortable with the game, but like when I'm going back and playing old games, 2021 and 2020 do not feel good to play anymore. Like, I cannot play them. I can't adjust to them. The only thing I can do on those is play classic cars on 2020. That's the best I can do. On 2019 and 18, Brilliant. I feel nice like move. I'm more at ease with the cars. The cars genuinely feel so much easier to drive. And obviously there's been some improvements on the game since then, meaning that 2020 and 2021 were more sophisticated. And these 2018 and 19 were still amazing, but felt more like games and not a little bit less like simulators. Maybe that's why they're easier to play. I reckon if I played 2018 and 19 for long enough, I'd then be able to go back and play 2020 and 2021 and be back where I was. Just very hard. Right, come on. Come on. If I go for the inside, of course I do. I'm Sebastian Vettel, mate. Oh, but I'm also going to spin. I've got the inside of Lebose. I'll just chuck it down the inside, that'll do. Nice traction. The dry line's starting to appear. Oh! Turned too hard there. I'm so used to going... it's so weird to look at that the pit lane is on the other side of the barrier and you don't just drive into the pit lane there. It's not as long as a pit lane as it is. I can't believe you have to go in there. That's so odd. When did they update that? Was it 2019 or 2020? Which game did they do that? I can't remember how it was for 2019 now. I do remember it in 2018 for the first race back here when Hamilton won the race and then Verstappen got P2. I think Vettel actually hit Bottas into turn 1 and only got a 5-second penalty. Which, you know, didn't do much for his didn't do too much for his race anyway. Into the braking zone. Who is your favourite driver? I think you just missed the conversation we had before. We were talking about, like, he was a new fan. We were talking about favourite drivers. I am a big... I've always been... Oh, sorry. Or maybe I'll... Hold on, I'll get back to you when I come out of these few corners, because these corners are a pain in the arse. Right. I'll make no secret of it. My favourite driver is Lewis Hamilton. Like, he's been... Like, he is my idol. Like, I think since he come into the sport, I've never been so impressed with anyone consistently as I was with him. Like, he's always been my favourite. And I think there's some...
Right, some information on Ricciardo.
I can relate to him more because I am a person of colour. I think that is... Because he's more I find him more relatable in that regard. But I like I do like the vast majority of the drivers. There are a few drivers that I genuinely dislike. Like, over the last 5 years or so, I genuinely... Mazepin was a waste of time, Latifi was a waste of time. There are one or two other drivers. I don't like to dig them out, but like there's some genuinely horrific drivers. But I genuinely like the vast majority of the drivers, and I respect all of them to a degree. If I don't respect a driver, I think it's because they've done something pretty bad, or...
Okay, the weather's certainly eased off for the time being, but we've still got a lot of standing water out there. We're happy for you to stay out on the Inters for now.
I'm going to tell Jeff to shut up in a second, and I'll carry on talking about how good Sebastian Vettel was.
There's static over the radio. Say again. Okay, copy that.
Right, back to Sebastian Vettel. Yeah, an absolute icon of the sport. Let's be real. I think the last... Oh, that was horrific! No, the last 2 years, you know, of his career when he was at Aston Martin, and then the last... I would actually say the last 2 seasons at Ferrari, even though he won a race in 2019, his 2019 campaign was not great. Not just by his standards, like he did have some really good drives, like Germany 2019, fantastic drive, it was unbelievable. And obviously Canada, apart from that one mistake, and he should have won the race, but you know, he got a penalty, which is fair enough, and he lost it. But he had some genuinely incredible drives from time to time, and Turkey 2020. But it was just a shame that his career ended in a way like that. He was the type of guy that I wanted to see. It would have been nice to see him still fighting for wins and podiums on a regular basis, and not just picking them up on the occasion where the Mercedes, the the new Ferraris drivers and the Red Bulls will punt themselves out of the race and open up for any Tom, Dick, and Harry to go win it, sort of thing. So it is a genuine shame, but if you just look back on his career, it's remarkable. Like what he did with Toro Rosso was remarkable. I can't keep it in a straight line on a straight. Yeah, sorry. What he did at Toro Rosso, and then the amount of times he pulled that car into 4th place, 5th place, and then Monza. We're going to forget Monza for a second, but like the amount of times he was pulling that car ahead of, one of the McLarens or the Ferraris or all these other cars. Like that Toro Rosso was great. Like him in that Toro Rosso is that's so iconic, actually. Like that's really cool. And then when you bring Monza into the equation, I think, what a star. VSC for what? Who's out? Someone's just retired. Is that Sergei Sorokin? Or that's Brendan Hartley. He's now stopped the car. Anyway, back to the Seb conversation. Yeah, just some of the things he was doing, and then obviously his Red Bull days, you can't speak highly enough about them. Like his first world title, only having led the championship on the final day. Like that's such a weird thing. The first time you take the lead of the championship is after the last race when you've won it. That's so weird. And in fairness, the guy should have led the championship at least twice or 3 times, because you could easily argue that he should have won all 3 of the first races of the season because of a brake issue in Australia and then an engine issue in Bahrain that took him down to 4, I think. Like, it was bad luck, but he made up for it in the end, didn't he? And then 2011, 15 pole positions, 11 wins, championship wrapped up in Japan. Ugh. He was on fire that season, but he made some mistakes though, like Germany and Canada. Well, Canada right at the end, but Germany was an absolute howler. And then, 2012, I think, as good as Fernando was, I think Seb deserved that, hands down. And then 2013, he just waltzed away with it. That was the only time, I think, Malaysia was the only real thing that I was genuinely disappointed and didn't like Seb for. But as I've grown up, I've sort of grown to understand why, and it's fair enough. You can get used to that sort of stuff. It's absolutely fair enough, and I completely get it. So it makes sense. But the guy is a remarkable driver, and I remember weirdly, like mid 2013, didn't like him, and then at the start of 2015, I just loved him. He was amazing. I loved him so much. Yeah. Talk about F1 all day long. Should have a podcast. I really should. We just talk about F1. Although there's a lot of those now. There's WTF1, P1. There's I've forgotten what the I really forgot what it's called. Is it the pit stop? I think it's the pit stop. Where there's loads of F1 podcasts and all that sort of stuff, but yeah, really good. I think I can double stack at Ferrari. Do I want slightly more downforce? I don't think I need to, but ooh, that's... So just quickly check something. Okay, that's all good. But yeah, no, I love California. Right. What do you think of the W14? What, in terms of its look? Or in terms of... Because obviously I don't know much about its performance. So I can only really speak about its look. I hope it's a good car, because I want to see both Lewis and George fight for, especially, I mean, they ended up doing quite well in terms of podium tally. Like, they did both really quite well in terms of podiums, considering how bad the W13 was in comparison to the Ferrari and Red Bull. But in terms of the look of the W14, oh, it's a sexy car. I love it. It looks so good. I think it's slightly annoying that obviously all the cars have gone to carbon, or had carbon in some regard. Like, Mercedes have been able to pull it off because they were going for the black car.
Kimi in the pits.
But when you get the close-up and you zoom in on what's carbon and what's paint, it does slightly bug me that, like, you know, the transition between the black paint and the black carbon, it would have been just nice to see it fully painted black. But, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan of it. I think it was slightly peculiar seeing the Petronas sign. It's pushed back a little bit compared to where it usually is. It's usually at the like mid swoosh with the teal swoosh at the that they have, the Petronas swoosh, the one that looks like Airways chewing gum. But they've obviously pushed that back towards the rear end of the car. They've got rid of the red for the Ineos, and it's only a little ringlet at the top of the car, and not the whole red block that they had, which I think is actually really nice. I know you can't really notice the black stars or like the dark stars as much that they have at the back of the car. I still wish they had the smaller but had loads of the stars at the back instead of like a dozen big ones. I prefer the smaller but larger in quantity sort of thing. Yeah, the big ones do bug me out a little bit. But yeah, no, the car looks good. It honestly, it is my favourite livery. I did a livery ranking with my friend. We haven't posted it or anything. We were just talking about it, and we both agreed on a few things, and the Mercedes is the best car. It is the best looking car out there. In fact, actually, looking at the official, what F1 said, they had a poll for what the best looking cars were, and the fans voted. What the fans voted for the top three was exactly what my top three was, with the Mercedes number 1, the Ferrari number 2, and the Alfa Romeo number 3. That was a fan vote, where thousands of people obviously given their opinions. And it seems like mine is very in tune with, well, at least the top three with fans. I think, yeah, there are some liveries where me and my friend disagreed, but I think we had the same cars in the top 4, but the only car we agreed on, I think, was the Mercedes. Because I put the Red Bull 4th, he put the Red Bull 3rd? Yeah. He put the Red Bull 3rd, I put the Red Bull 4th, then I did the Alfa Romeo 3rd, he did it 2nd, I put the Ferrari 2nd, he put it 4th, and then we both put the Mercedes in 1st. Because he doesn't rate the Ferrari as much as I do, because of the black on the Ferrari not being as well integrated as it should be, or at least could be anyway. But I think the Ferrari looks wicked. It's the red for me. The red actually looks hot. I love it. Yeah. Who do you think's going to win the championship this year, guys? Who do you genuinely think? If the cars are, I think, let's say Red Bull aren't as dominant. Like, let's say Red Bull have got a great car, but it's not as dominant as it was last year. Ferrari keep up the pace and then Mercedes improve. Who wins the championship? Are we looking at a Verstappen 3rd title? Are we looking for a first-time world champion in Leclerc or in Russell maybe? Or even Carlos or Perez? Or are we looking at an 8th world championship for Lewis Hamilton? Which one? What's the most likely in that situation? I'm inclined to believe Verstappen wins the title. If the car is still just as good, if not maybe even a bit worse than last year, I still think Verstappen wins the title. Either the Ferrari has to have a major upgrade where it's as dominant as the Red Bull was last year, or the Mercedes is great. I don't know, but I don't want another Verstappen. Well, I mean, personally, me neither, because I would want I want Lewis Hamilton to win an 8th world title, like in whatever fashion. I want him naturally to win an 8th title because I think that would be so cool, and I think he is more than deserving of one. I think he has done enough to have deserved an 8th world title, and I feel like if they produce a car, they'll do it. But me saying that, do I want Verstappen? I wouldn't care if Verstappen were to win another world title or not. I think he's a driver that's more than capable of winning many world championships. Whether he wins 7 or not is out another question, and I'm out the race. I've thrown away my French Grand Prix. I've actually thrown it away. Oh my god, I'm actually the real Sebastian Vettel. And I can't even use a flashback either. I'm not allowed. Oh, I just ate that wall. No, I can't. I'm sticking to my rules. No flashbacks. Oh god, the lag. Yeah, I could have used it, but I can't. I'm refusing. So that's like my 3rd or 4th retirement. So I'm now out. But what was I saying? I think you can't say that. I don't think it's fair for me to go, I don't want Verstappen to win another title because I want to see other people win. Like, when people go, oh, we don't want to see the same guy win titles all the time because it's boring. Like, it's not fair. Because if a team works hard enough to produce an amazing car and be dominant, they deserve it. And if a driver has worked incredibly hard and gets into a dominant car and then wins all these races and wins a title with no stress, they probably deserve it. So I don't think you can massively complain about that. So if Red Bull were to produce a car that was absolutely remarkable and dominate the field, and Verstappen were to claim a 3rd world title, as much as I would be slightly disappointed, I can't complain about it. And that's what does my head in when people say that about Hamilton, and it does my head in when people do it about Schumacher and Vettel. Like they've got themselves in that position because they've worked hard for it. Like Hamilton gets into a good car, he steps into any good car in his career that he's had so far because of how hard he worked to get there. Like McLaren chose him for a reason, Mercedes then chose him for a reason, and obviously they got lucky with the regulation changes and whatnot because they nailed it and they put their focus towards it, but they worked hard for it. And I think Red Bull have done the same thing. Yeah, we can all like talk about all the cost cap, like that's where you get into the realms of it being more of a toxic sort of thing. 35 points behind. Also, I didn't acknowledge that Sergio Perez just won the race. That's incredible. But yeah, I think if I were to pick any driver, I think I would want. Who would I want? Genuinely, I would want Hamilton to win 2023. I don't need him to win another 2-3 world titles. I just want him desperately to win at least one world title like before he retires. Then, if Verstappen wins 2, 3, 4, or whatever, if Leclerc starts winning titles, if Russell starts winning titles, or if some other team, like say McLaren, improve massively in the next few years and they start winning titles again, Norris or Piastri, like whoever wins, I think it don't matter. But for next season, I'll be hoping and praying that it's Lewis Hamilton. Also, do you think Piastri will do better than Lando? I would say that Piastri does a good job. I think he does reasonably well, but I don't think he beats Norris outright. In terms of like points in the championship, I reckon Norris will win that. But I reckon he might have a couple of like maybe in certain races there might be stuff going on. He pulls like a P7 or a P6 or maybe even a P5 at some point. Gets like a good dollop of points in. I reckon Piastri would do well and score points here there, but I think it's basically on experience. I think in terms of talent, I think they're not actually that far off because I think Piastri's so good. I couldn't believe that he wasn't. I think it was a shame that he wasn't in the team in 2022, because his 2021 I was so impressed with, and I think he would have done amazingly had he been at Alpine in 2022. But I don't know. You can never be too sure. I think Norris has it covered, but I don't think it will be like an outright destruction of his career. I reckon he'll do well. But that's an interesting one. It's an interesting one to talk about. More top speed. Really been struggling with the traction in the last few races. Really been losing the rear end. I can sort that out. There we go, save that. Just gonna check the chat. I haven't missed any comments. No, the last one was about Piastri and stuff. Okay. Alright, that's not a problem. Sweet. Right, I'm not missing anything. I haven't got any, like, invites for parties or anything while I've been... No, I haven't. Alright, cool. As long as I haven't missed anything. Oh, dear. Right. Come on, I need wins for this next few races. Because, you know what? In the races I've done today, the best result I've got is a P2 in Canada. From the back of the grid. Not ideal. Should have been a win in France, but I bottled it. And Monaco's just Monaco. So. Oh, there's Bottas. Oh, there goes the braking board. Yeah, Bottas has done really well this championship. Even in the first race, Bottas was outdoing Hamilton. Jesus, flown away in these corners. Jesus. I think sometimes I'm underestimating myself against the AI's ability, and then sometimes I'm overrating it. Oh, come on, Kimmy, let's go.
Okay, also, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
Also, I need some new recommendations. I was speaking to a few friends about, obviously, the series that I'm currently doing, Road to Glory. And obviously, for 2018, it's the game I've got the furthest back. I don't have 17 or 16 or 15 or anything like that. This is the earliest game I have. And I was thinking about doing some Road to Glories for some other drivers. And, like, looking at certain games. And when you go back and play 2018, Vettel was the obvious answer because, you know, everyone's like, oh, Vettel, you know, he should have been closer in the fight in 2018 and all that sort of stuff. So I was going to do a Road to Glory on him. But I was thinking about doing maybe a couple of Road to Glories or something, like, different sort of series, like, multiple series for each of the games, like doing a Road to Glory for each game, or like last to first challenges in all sorts of games and tracks and whatnot, like a last to first in 2021 as Lewis Hamilton in Interlagos, for example. Like, it makes sense. A last to first for Perez in Bahrain because Sakir's not in the game in 2020. Or, like, you could do the Bahrain short, I guess, although it's not Sakir. Like, I need to think of people to do Road to Glories for the next few games, and I'm not sure who to be. Like, for example, in 2020, you could reasonably be Verstappen. Verstappen could have maybe have won the title in 2020 had, you know, some things gone a bit more in their way, sort of thing. Now, it could have happened. So I need to think of that. In 2019, I really don't know who to do a Road to Glory of. Do I do it with Bottas? I could do it of Verstappen, but I want to do that for 2020. Could do Leclerc, but I don't think I could do Vettel again in 2019.
It looks like
But
it
my
could be a
friend
tense round of the
smartly, he
championship
recommended
here as we prepare
Nico
to get today's
Hulkenberg,
race underway.
which I think is quite interesting because Hulkenberg is
So-
massively underrated. So, yeah, just let me know.
Right, let's be patient going into turn 1. We want to be in a good position for the rest of the race. Good luck. Well done, mate. Nice start. Okay, entering lap 3 now. DRS has been enabled. A new strategy is available on the MFD. Understood, copy that. Battery charge is high. Let's increase ERS deployment to up the pace. We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the super softs. Yellow flag. Okay, clear.
Yeah, that's actually quite nice to know that they do just... I think I was on mute when I said that. I have no idea whether I was on mute or not. It's nice to know the AI do just drag themselves back to the pits whenever they've got damage. Although he's going extremely slowly there. Jesus! He is going to cause a safety car. Hard to know whether I'm on mute or whether I'm not on mute now, because I keep muting myself at the wrong point. Yeah. Right, there's no way I've done a fastest sector 1 with no ERS. There's no way. Anyways. Also don't like the fact that the boards are on the curb. Let me mount the curb. Not like I want to anyway. I don't think I need to either. Also the tyres were screaming at me last lap when I was going through there. Didn't like me at all. 3 seconds back to Bottas. 6.5 back to Hamilton. I've got another lap in me. Will we see either of the Mercedes in? Bottas no, and I don't expect Hamilton to be in either.
We're boxing this lap.
Raikkonen's
Give us the
struggling.
best in lap you can.
3.7. Let's say a bit. Yeah. I'm going to use the ERS now. Alright, mate, got to go for my football training. Oh, nice! You play football. Where you play? Well, at what position you playing? Just before you go, if you've got time to answer that. But if you've gone, or if you're about to leave now and you can't answer, then I hope you have a good training session, and I hope to see you again soon on maybe one of my streams, or like maybe in the comment section somewhere in a YouTube video or in a TikTok somewhere. I don't know. But it's been genuinely nice talking to you. No worries at all. Goodbye.
Pit in this lap, and remember the speed limit. We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you approach.
There you go. The super softs. Who else is in? Is that Bottas or is that Hamilton that's come? Neither of them in.
Go, go, go.
I hope there's not a safety car in this next lap. That would be
Kimi's
embarrassing.
in for his stop.
Now Kimmy's in as well, so we've actually done the double stack.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this
Right, come on.
compound.
Come out in front of Hulkenberg. Nico Hulkenberg. I'm under pressure here. Oh, God. That wasn't nice. Couldn't stop the car. Right, I'm not going to push straight away because I don't need to. I've got the advantage. I'm on fresh tyres. Oh, no DRS. Fantastic.
Let's use some of this energy. Increase the ERS deployment. There is a fault to the DRS. You won't be able to open the rear wing. We're working on a fix. Stay out.
3.7 second advantage. That's good. Warning exceeding... Sorry? So I get warning for exceeding track limits there, but not anywhere else. This was a warning for exceeding track limits. That was a warning. That's a warning. I did that. That's a warning for exceeding track. Yes, I'm clearly. Look, wait, where is it? Clearly, wait. At this point, right there, you could argue. But look, I have gone so much wider and not been given warnings for it. That's a joke. That is honestly a joke. Let's take a screenshot of that. Yep, warning, exceeding track limits. Anyway, right, Perez is in the pits. I'm going to think of a girthy line here, aren't I? Oh, I got away with it. Right, was that not exceeding track limits? That not exceeding track limits?
The gap to the car ahead is 6.4 seconds.
That's a big gap for Hamilton.
We're leading our teammate by 23.9 seconds.
Oh dear. No. Oh, did it again. Exceeding track limits. I deliberately took the piss, but I was also losing the rear end, so it's only if you cut that bit. Right, I'm deliberately just running off the track on purpose now. The McLaren's
is looking
stopped
really
there.
good. You're managing it well.
That's Alonso that's out of the race. We're going to get a VSC maybe. Well, Grosjean's running in third. There's the Red Bull of Ricardo, I think that is. Or was that Verstappen maybe? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Hey, Fernando.
Okay, car behind is now running the super soft tyre. That's the super soft on the car behind.
He is on fresher tyres than me, but he has more time to make up because I stopped earlier, got the undercut, and pulled away. The gap 6.2. In fairness, I've been pushing as well through that. Oh, very deep. Yeah, this is not going to be another fastest lap, but it was nice to try. Can't tell me what my split time is. Definitely exceeded the track limits there. Oh, Jesus. Too busy sorting out other things that I just completely missed the braking point for that corner. Yep. Interesting line. Come on then. 6 laps to bring it home. It's a shame that Kimi's dropped so far back. Even though he is closer in the championship to me than Bottas is, I would have rather have had Kimi maybe P3 and then Hamilton P4. P4? P4. Great. Nice speed.
The gap behind us is 8.4 seconds.
Let's see if I've got any messages that I need to check. Right, that's all the messages checked. Right, now time to finish the race.
You are in first position, front of the pack. Bottas behind. Okay, the gap behind is 8.4 seconds. They're on fresh super softs. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. 6 laps to go. There's 5 laps of fuel remaining. Our gap behind is 9.7 seconds. The battery is low on energy. Reduce ERS deployment. Gap to teammate behind is 35.7 seconds. Complete, go now. Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track. We've only got 2 laps of fuel left. We're not going to be able to run in this engine mode much longer. We're about a lap over target. Drop down to mix 2 soon. We've been awarded. This is your final lap of the race. The gap to the car behind is 6.6 seconds. Absolutely awesome. Just amazing. Well done.
A great win then for the Maranello team today. Tell me, Ant, what was the key to this success?
The difference was clearly in the strategy. You could tell they'd done a lot of work on the pit wall to really optimise each stint and get the most out of the tyres. And it highlights just how much of a team sport this really is. But credit to the driver as well, though. There's no good having a well-oiled machine behind the scenes without a talented hand on the wheel, of course.
So, here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more. And after this round of the World Championship, Here's how things look in the drivers' table. Well, the gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today for our championship leader. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Sebastian Vettel. He was a class above today, just an absolute pleasure to watch.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. That's it for today's Grand Prix, and from Ant and I, it's goodbye, and see you again next time. Here we are then, waiting for the green lights to get qualifying underway for the British Grand Prix. And I'm here, of course, with Anthony Davidson on what has turned out to be a very pleasant day indeed. No weather to interfere, no problems on the track, so absolutely no room for error.
That's right, Crofty. It's looking good out there at the moment. Each team will have their own game plan for this session. And of course, once the cars leave the garage, they'll be under parc fermé conditions. So any last-minute adjustments need to be done right here and now. Beyond that, it's all up to the driver. Who can keep their tyres in the right temperature? Who can hit their apexes? No race fuel on board these days, of course. These are the fastest cars we've had in a long, long time. And it's right here in qualifying where they're at their absolute peak. Let's get started.
Right, well, I do think that will probably be the end of, for now at least, my road to glory with Sebastian Vettel. Thank you all for watching. I know I've just been sat on mute for a little while, but I appreciate everyone that's watched this episode. And yeah, I will catch you for the next one. Peace!